Scott just made the point. Jeff
Jefferson used to be a lot more secure, not just. Emailgate lit the fuse, and now the great Democratic Civil War is on between Camp Clinton and the Obama White House for the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. I'm Steve Green. This is Trifecta. This is a special three-parter. Now, yesterday in part one, we looked at how the White House has left Clinton to twist in the wind and how the sides are lining up in this war. Now, the thing to remember is, though, that for Obama to win, Hillary Clinton must lose. But who will come to her aid and how? Let's get Bill Whittle and Scott on here and answer those questions. Gents, let's ignore the old Clinton hands like Lanny Davis and James Carville who have been going on the news the last week. Everybody knows they'll rush to Hillary's defense. Everybody knows they'll be well rewarded for it. And nobody has actually listened to these people since Bill Clinton left office over 14 years ago, if you can believe it was that long. So hope and change, right? So let's check in with the Washington Post's Dana Milbank, who rushed to Hillary's aid by launching a vicious counterattack against former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. That's right. Last week, Milbank wrote, before O'Malley was governor, he was mayor of Baltimore, and he says he implemented the 48-hour pothole guarantee. And our crews actually hit that guarantee, and they hit it 97% of the time, and each of those members of those crews got a thank you note from the mayor when we did it. This is why Clinton has little to worry about, no matter how badly she flubs her response to the kerfuffle. That's a great word. Clinton set up a private and unsecured email server in violation of State Department policy and United States laws. If she actually signed her outgoing papers with State Department, likely has embarrassing or secret emails still in the hands of our Russian and Chinese and Iranian friends. But this kerfuffle doesn't matter because Martin O'Malley is kind of lame. This is according to Dana Milbank. Now, in an earlier column, I should remind you, Milbank said that the crisis erupted because Clinton is too cautious for her own good. What an interesting definition of the word cautious. Bill, with friends like this, does Hillary even need to be her own worst enemy?
Steve, you know, you're starting to think that her enemy is, in fact, the American people. I mean, things have been upside down for so long that we have the social proof of the media. If the media doesn't cover it, then it is a kerfluffle. It's just a little thing like selling out the missile defense to the Russians or any of these other little kerfluffles that happen with open mics. But I mean, people just need to stop for a second. They need to stop and think. This is not the person responsible for bench maintenance who's the Undersecretary Assistant Deputy of Parks and Recreation. This is the Secretary of State of the United States of America, who has transacted for 4 years the official business of the United States on a single box which lives in either Manhattan or Texas. I think it's Manhattan is the last thing that people pointed out. The entire diplomatic position of the United States, all of our alliances and all of our communication with our allies, our force structure, our positioning in the world, our global initiatives, where we're going to go, where we're going to fight, where we're not going to fight. All of this stuff was stored on a server that used Microsoft standard encryption software. The software wasn't updated. You know those updates that you and I get all the time, like you must install this critical update, it leads to various security lapses. They didn't install those. The certificate, the security certificate was not a custom certificate. All you have to do is just say, I'd like a custom certificate, but they didn't. They got the same one that went to thousands, if not millions of people. Just the security breach alone is treasonous, and that's the only word for it. It's treasonous. It's treasonous. And when you get past the treason and you look at the statute, which simply says that this is against the law, holding these records, not revealing these records, not turning these records in, punishable by up to 3 years in prison and a fine and absolute disqualification for any further office in the United States government. These things are immediately in front of all of our eyes. They're right in front of us. It's not something you have to dig deep in. And for some idiot like this to call this a kerfluffle is to find out why this country is in the kind of trouble it is. The job of the press is to afflict the comfortable and comfort the afflicted, and not call the biggest security breach perhaps in the history of the country a little kerfluffle because she happens to be pals with this arrogant, self-centered, mean-spirited, thin-skinned, god-awful, nasty, horrible wretch of a person who sold out the United States of America and its people because she finds it too inconvenient to carry 2 BlackBerries around.
Wow. You know, folks, before we started taping this segment, Bill said he was pleasantly surprised that this scandal was showing. Such long legs, and that is exactly why. All right, and that leads us right to our next question. CNN's Gloria Borger has long been a champion of Hillary's, but even her defense of Clinton was, well, let's just say it was less than inspiring. Borger's message to Democrats was this. She said, "The truth is simple. Your job is to defend Hillary Clinton, not to bury her. Yes, it can be hard, even annoying, but think about it this way. If you don't, her problems become your own. The party is the person, and the person is the party." Scott,
that's from CNN.
How's that for a plea for party unity?
Well, especially for anybody who knows a little bit of Shakespeare, "I come to praise Caesar, not to bury him," turned out to be a speech that was quite the opposite of the way it started out, didn't it? So I'm surprised that they would even use that phrase in such a sense, or maybe she's sending a dog whistle message to some people. And to your other, your buddy Dana over at the Washington Post, how many people in America, when they heard that Martin O'Malley got 97% of the potholes filled, would say, "That's good enough for me"? I mean, I'll take a politician who can actually get the potholes filled. Right. What has Hillary Clinton done for me lately? And by the way, in Baltimore, Mayor William Donald Schaefer, years and years ago, before Tom Peters and Bob Waterman wrote In Search of Excellence, had this great pothole program where he would personally make sure that these potholes were filled. It's a long tradition in Baltimore, which leads me to believe that Baltimore is full of holes and always has been. You know, this is something that is not just a potential misdemeanor. This is a potential felony that Hillary Clinton has committed here, because the 30-some thousand emails that she, on her own prerogative, got rid of, destroyed, could have potentially been used in future probes, criminal investigations, indictments, or whatever. She has destroyed evidence potentially in advance. This is a law that's on the books and that can be punishable by up to 20 years in prison. If you're a public official and you destroy documents like this, this is a very serious matter, and I hope that people don't lose heart, and especially the Democrats don't lose heart and say, you know what, we got to put our party ahead of our principles. I think that they need to go after her, no matter how they stand on her election as president, and they've got to come clean with this.
Fat chance.
Yeah, and it really is a civil war for control of the heart and soul of the Democratic Party. You know, folks, the Hillary Clinton I saw at that press conference on TV a week ago now, which was, by the way, the last time anyone saw Clinton on TV, that was not a woman who was prepared to run for president. But you know what? If her husband wants to keep his mantle as most beloved living Democrat, she may have to run, and she will have to if she ever wants the chance to don that mantle for herself. But as even her defenders seem forced to admit, the price to her party and to the country may be more than even forgiving American voters are willing to pay. We can only hope. I'm sorry, Hillary, but unless you can rally the troops, this is not your father's Oldsmobile, or not your husband's party any longer. All right, PJTV members, stay tuned for part 3 when we'll look at Republican options in the Democratic Civil War. Is it time for you to join the fight? If you're not a member, just go to PJTV.com and look for that subscribe button. It's cheap and easy. You'll like us. For Scott Ott and Bill Whittle, I'm Steve Green.